Rabbi Shopiro,
Ja.
gewollt fragen bei Chaye. Sie kommen zu reden letzte Woche. Man mal gesehen am Meimer von Alter Rabbi, man schon weiß, wo das ist. Legabe die Malachim, was haben gegessen dort in Wasser, Becholov, der Torgover, Logover. Ihr gedenkt, wo das ist, wo kann man das, ich besuche mal auf Siches.
Ich weiß, was meint, aber ich denke nicht. Wo kann in die Siches von Alter Rabbi noch mal?
Nicht da.
Ja?
No. Ich habe gekocht.
Nicht Mamore Maxorim?
Ich hab gesucht in dem Afteches. Und sie fanden dort eine Sache Erchen von Kedemattentere, Aftermattentere, but nothing related to the Malachim, nothing related to Tatogover and Logover.
Aber Frank sagt, actually, Mamore Maxorim von Alter Rabbi. Sefer Mamore Maxorim.
Ich kann gucken.
All right, ich denke, wir können schon noch nehmen. Ja. This is a Sicha, the Siches Chelek Yud. First Sicha in the Siches Chelek Yud, Parshas Chaye Sara. And Parshas Chaye Sara in the beginning, it speaks about Sara passing away and Avraham looking to bury her. And the pasuk says that he spoke to the Bnei Ches and he said to them, please speak to Ephraim at Tzeichar. And he said, "V'yitem li as moras hamachpelah shelei asher b'ktzei sadeyu," that he should give me the moras hamachpelah that's his, that's at the end of his field. The kesef mola yitnenu li, with full money he should give it to me. So the Rebbe says here, "Ala posik v'yitem li as moras hamachpelah gamer." The kesef mola yitnenu li, he should give me the moras hamachpelah. And the pasuk says, "B'kesef mola yitnenu li," he should give it to me with full. The word mola means full money. Pirish Rashi writes like this. First, Rashi quotes the two words from the pasuk "Kesef Moli," and then Rashi explains what does that mean. Ashalim kol shavya. I will pay all its value. I will pay full price. Chayin David Amar Aravno v'Kesef Moli. We find the same thing like David said to Aravno. David conquered Yerushalayim and he was going to start building the Beis Hamikdash. Aravno was the melech there, and David said, and he said to David, "I'm ready to let you use this Haramiriya for what you want." And David said to him, "The Kesef Moli. I'm only going to take it with Kesef Moli," the same lotion like it says here. And the Pasha is, what is Rashi trying to say? That just like here, the Kesef Moli means I will pay Kol Shavya. So too, when David said to Aravno, Kesef Moli means I'll pay Kol Shavya. This is the simple pshat in Rashi. The Tzorach Lov and Rebbe says we have to understand. Ma madgish Rashi b'pirusha b'Kesef Moli Kol Shavya. What is Rashi trying to say when he says that Kesef Moli means Kol Shavya, it's full value? That's a simple pattern posik, and we have that klal. Rashi only explains a posik or words that need explanation, things which are very simple. Poshup shat, Rashi has nothing to say. What is like missing here? Because Rashi has to say it means a shalom kol shavya. What is the meaning of kol shavya? That's one shaila. And the second shaila is ma'u arai bekesef moli shebedivrei hayomim. If Rashi is trying to explain something here in kesef moli, and he brings a raya, also David said to Ravna the same thing, which seems to be that from there we have a raya that this is the pshat in the words kesef moli. Whatever the pshat in Rashi is, but he's trying to use this as a raya. So the question is, Ma'ya raya v'kesef moli sheb divrei hayomim. That's a pasuk in divrei hayomim. What's the raya from the fact that it says there kesef moli ma'acha she'esa halosh mamish and nemora because of shulavaneinu. It's the exact same pasuk loshon as we have here. When do we bring a raya? If you have someplace sells the same loshon and over there it's muchrach to be a certain pshat. Oh, we have a raya. That's the pshat. We don't know. There is not better than here. So what does Rashi bring a raya from there? But in the order 5, the Rebbe says maybe Rashi doesn't mean to say as a raya to our pshat. Maybe Rashi is just saying, just like we have the pshat here, I want to let you know that in Divrei Yomim, when David said to Rav, Kesef Moli means the same thing. The Rebbe said it can be. That's Rashi doesn't do that. Rashi only explains pshat in the pasuk. Rashi is not going to be in one pasuk explain pshat in another pasuk, which is later. So obviously this is not what Rashi means. So Rashi is probably using it to bring it as a raya to here. What kind of raya is it? It's the same word, and whatever it could mean there, whatever it is, it could mean here too. It's no raya. Then the Rebbe said, you could explain that what Rashi means to say. Before I go further, I just want to mention that I should have mentioned at the beginning that we're learning this year in the schus for Rabbi Avrom Yosef Biyarsky in honor of his Yom that he should have a Shnaz Brocha V'Atzlocha. So all want to wish him a Shnaz Brocha V'Atzlocha and all the good Sachen. Now let's go back to the Sicha. The Chure, you could explain that what Rashi means to say is to bring a Raya and a Chover. A Raya means a Raya and another place where you find the same thing. And the Rebbe will explain what this means. The Kosher Le'arosh and Mole B'Shachas L'Kesef. Rashi has a problem with the Pasuk because that's the first thing we have to know. What's bothering Rashi? The Loshen Mole, when it comes to Kesef, to money or to silver or to coins, the word Mole doesn't seem to fit. L'Chure Eina Loshen Mole Misames. The word Mole, full, only fits the Dover Sheyitzuya Be'ifucha Reik. Something that could be empty. So if it's not empty, it's full. K'mei b'keleh, by a vessel. It says in this week's parsha, Vatimale Kadosh, she filled up her jug. That's something that could be empty, and she filled it up. Or we find it in Parsha Vayeshev, when they threw Yosef in the pit, in the bed, it says, Vabei Reik, it's empty, because it could be full. Avo b'kesef, Masiv, Habitu Choser, or Sholem. Over there you could say missing or full. Not full, I mean not complete. Eirav Ma'at Kedema. You say a lot or a little. What do you mean full? Money that's full. How is money full? Money could be is a lot of money, less money. Sometimes you have a coin that's missing something. It's not full. Not we use the word full, but not complete. But not the Loshem Mole. Rashi says Shemotza Lechover. He says here the shaili is that it doesn't seem to be right. But if you find someplace else where the Torah does the same thing, is a simmer that it is right. So it's only a svara that you don't use the word mole for kesef. But if that's the style of the Torah, then it's fine. So the raya will be that we find a chover. We find, that's the Lashon of Rashi a lot of times when he finds another place where it says the same thing. He says the same thing. Hainu. Rashi wants to prove that the derech, the seder of the psukim, is that it could use by kesef the word mole tmuras loshen sholim instead of using the word sholim hamasima yeser, which seems to be fit more. But we see the Torah does ukayetze. So that's what Rashi is not trying to bring a rai because there it's better. But the fact that it says it in another place answers the shaila that Rashi had that l'chura, how does the word mole fit to kesef? Avalafiza ain't a movement, but according to that, it's not understood because number one, havel leimer v'chein beDavid didn't have to bring the whole thing. He should have just said v'chein beDavid, Kamei like it says v'chein beyeno, Irash in Vayera. And it says that David didn't tell Abraham Avinu when he told him to go to the Akedah, he didn't tell him where to go. So Rashi says that David does that with tzaddikim. He doesn't tell him right away. He wants to. They should ask. And the same thing by Yena. It says David said go to Nineveh and call them, tell them what I'm going to tell you. So also he didn't tell him right away. So Rashi only says v'chein beyena, and he quotes the pasuk from there, but he doesn't say that the Eibishter spoke to Yena. He just said v'chein beyena, and he quotes the pasuk where it says it. But Kama came many places. So here it should have said v'chein beDavid v'kesef mole. Why does he have to say David said it to Aravna? What's Nageya? That's one kasha. Second kasha, since the whole Kavan of Rashi, according to this pshat, is la'idiyash yesh chover leloshen kesef mole. Show us that there's another place where we find the loshen kesef mole using the word mole by kesef. The ein kavanas Rashi la'idiya pirish kesef mole, but Rashi is not interested in telling us kesef mole. Kesef mole, you know what it means. Kesef mole means that the money was full. Problem is, when did we use such a loshen? So Rashi says we do find such a loshen. So all Rashi is trying to do, not explain pshat in the words, but just answering the shaila, how do we use the word mole b'kesef? But not to say what it means, kimuvnu, that's understood. But imkein haver le rak lahavi esaraya v'chein David omer al aravna b'kesef mole. So then Rashi should have just started b'kesef mole. And what's the problem that's bothering Rashi? How do you use mole by the word kesef? So he should have said v'chein beDavid. David said to Ravna, we find also kesef mole. Says that we could use it. Ulahashmit apirish ashalim kol shavya. He should have skipped explaining it means I'll pay a full value. Because the way we said to pshat till now, it doesn't mean he's trying to say what he was going to do. It's just how the word mole fits to kesef. He should have said, I have another place. But he didn't have to mention the beginning that it means ashalim kol shavya, I'll pay all its value. And we see the Rabbi brings in Ha'ora 12, Rashi and Vayetze, where it says Vayivga ba'mokim, that Yaakov went and he met the place. So Rashi says Like it says in a different place, he met in Yerichai. What's Rashi trying to do there? Rashi is not trying to explain what the Taich Vayigva is. Vayivka, we know, means met. The Rashi is only wondering, how can you say the word Vayivga on a place? You don't meet a place. So Rashi brings, yes, we could say it. Like it says Vayivga B'mokim. So there also, Rashi doesn't touch the word Vayivga because he's not interested in touching because we know what it means. He's just interested in bringing another example that it's able to be used. Same thing here. Kesef Moli, we know what it means. Problem is, how does the word Moli fit? So he's trying to bring another place. So he should have said the Kesef Moli, and he should have said, another kasha, which is already a third kasha. Since Rashi quotes from the pasuk the words the Kesef Moli, kol shavya. So at least he could have said, what does Kesef Moli mean? Kol shavya. Maya isof ashalim kol shavya. Why does he have to say I'll pay? Well, obviously, we're talking about paying here. So even if for some reason Rashi doesn't want to tell us the word kol shavya, even though he has before, he doesn't even need to say it. But even if he wants to say, why does he add the word ashalim? That's extra, I will pay. That's not negated to the taich of the word Kesef Moli. Fourth kasha. Why is he Ma'arich? He brings the Raya from David and Ravna. He says, so David said to Ravna, David, the Kesef Moli. He didn't have to bring the words Omer Ravna. Just like it says Vayein, but when he quotes Yaina, and he quotes the pasuk, he should have said the David, Kesef Moli. But why does he have to say that? Where did this happen? It happened when David was speaking to Ravna. What's the gate? So there was a beer because the pshat is like this. Ashkofer Reshain the Kesef Moli, Mashme Moli Koyala Kesef. When it says Kesef Moli is Mashme, that the word Moli goes on the money. What's that money? The money will be full. Hainu Shavrom Avrom is telling him, Shematbeyes HaKesef, that the coins of the Kesef, Yiu Maleim, they will be full. There'll be nothing missing in their weight. That's a Taish. The Pashtas Kesef Moli, the Kesef will be full. Now the Shaila was how they use the word Moli. That's not a problem. You can find it. But the Shaila is a different Shaila. Where you're saying the Pashtas Pshat is Kesef Moli means the money will be full. Ayal Derech Pirush Yerushalmi the Kesef Moli Kinterin Yerushalmi says that Loshen. Kinterin is special coins that have the full weight. Ukepirish Rasha, like Rasha says, but not here. Rasha says later that when Avraham gave him the 400 shekel Ever Laseiche, Rasha says that he gave him coins which is miskabel, which is accepted all over, the best type of coins. Sha'af Efrein Lokach Mavrom Shkolim Delim, big Shkolim. So that seems to be the pshat in the words Kesef Mole. I'll give you the best money, the full money, money that's full, has its full weight. Or Peter Zeh Bo Rasha Lish little bit vorov. This is what Rasha is trying to tell us is not so. He's trying to say that what does Kesef Mole mean? Ashalem Kol Shavya. The word Mole, Shatevas Mole, Einet Tiyur B'Shaychus LeKesef Atzmei. The word Mole is not a description on what kind of Kesef, meaning Kamuse, means how much Kesef. I mean the size of Kesef, Mishkoli, or the weight of Kesef. Ele B'Negei Lesodes. The Mole goes on the field. Umechiro HaMole, the full price of the field. So when it says I'll give Kesef Mole, it means I'll give money or Kesef silver money, coins. Mole means that will fill the price of the field. Avram said, the Kesef Mole, Hainu Ashalim Kol Shav Yishal Asodeh. When he said, I'll give you Kesef Mole, I'll give him Kesef Mole, I will pay the whole value of the field. That's why Rashi writes these words, because that's what Rashi is trying to tell us. That's the pshat. It goes, the word Mole goes on the price of the field. Shakesef of B'schum Kazed, the money is going to be in such an amount, Shemale as Mechira, it'll fill the price of the field. Yishalim Kol Shavyo Shel Asodeh. I'm going to pay the whole value of the field. So Rasha says Kol Shavyo means its value. So the word Mole does not go on the word Kesef. So the Shaila that we said before, how does the word Mole fit the Kesef? That's not Rasha Shaila. Because Rasha is trying to tell us that's not the pshat. That the pshat, I'll pay Kesef Mole, goes Mole on the field, full price of the field. In Order 17, the Rebbe Taka says that when Rasha explains that he gave him coins, big coins, Rasha doesn't say it on this pasuk on Kesef Mole, because that's not the pshat Kesef Mole. Rasha says it that we know that he gave him the best type of shkolim from another word, from Eiver Laseiche. The Rebbe brings it. Rasha says it from there, and the Gemara B'Metzia learns it out from there, and the Gemara in Brachas learns it from there. All shows that we learn out that he gave him big coins that was very good. That we learn out from another pasuk. But when he said kesemoli, that's not what he meant. Kesemoli meant I'm going to give full price. I'm going to pay full price. What makes Rasha say it? In other words, why can't you learn kesemoli means that the money will be moli. So the Rebbe says the reason Rasha says it is because mehemshech haksuvi moving from, you look at the hemshech of the psukim, it's understood. When Avram asked Bnei Chaye, that he should give me the moras hamachpelah and he'll give it to me with kesef mole. When Avram Avinu said that, he came to answer what the Bnei Chaye said and said that I'm not going to do that. What did they say before? They said, you are a special leader by us. The mifcha kvareinu kver, with the best chosen graves you could bury your person. We will not stop it from you. Hainu means, when they said, no one's going to stop from giving you the moras machpelah. In other words, you won't have to pay. We're ready to give it to you for free. That's what they said. If you touch the psukim, they said, whatever you want, no one's going to take it away. No one's going to stop you from bearing. In other words, you could take it. So you don't have to pay for it. Kim china, we'll give it to you for free. Comes the answer of Avraham. He's not agreeing. Oh, he's answering, I don't want it for free, I'll pay full price. But if kesef means I'll give you very good coins, the best shkolim, the biggest shkolim, when Avram answered with what kind of shkolim he'll give, that's not an answer to what they said. And see this, so how they'll give him the field. They said we'll give it to free. So the first thing he has to answer, why is he taking it for free or not? So he has to answer, you should know, I'm not taking it for free. But they said we'll give it to you for free, and what's he answering? I'll give you a big shkolim. The way it's supposed to be. First, after he answers that the way you're going to give it to me is not the way you want to give it to me as a present. I'll pay for it. Then you could add if he wants, I'll give you big shkolim. But first he has to answer what they said. That's why Rashi, that's the reason for Rashi. Stop it, but Tevis called Shavio. That's why Rashi didn't even just write Moli means called Shavio. He added the words, I will pay. His answer is, the main thing is, the Hashalom is a very important word here. He said, I'll give you Bekesef Moli means, first of all, I'll pay for it. And not stam, I'll pay for it. That it'll be Hepech Matnas Chinim, it won't be for free, but it'll be even full price. So Rashi quotes the word Hashalom because that's he's explaining what makes him say that it goes on the field, not on the amount, the size of the money. So he says, how do I know it? Because the first thing is answering the Mashalim. I'll pay. Because they said, we don't have to pay. And he said, I'll pay. And when he said, I'll pay, what did he mean? I'll pay. Kesef Moli means I'll pay, and I'll pay full price. And in order 18, the Rebbe makes it clear. When they said to Avraham, you are a Nosi, and you should bury whatever you want. No one's going to hold you back the caver from you. So Rashi says, what they said contains two things. Number one, the mifcha kvareinu kver, you could bury wherever you want. So you can bury wherever you want. We're letting you bury where you want. And the second thing, when they said, Ish mimenu leyichla, no one is going to hold it back, then they added, sheyitlena b'chinam. No one's going to hold you back, means we'll give it to you. So they said two things. Do wherever you want, and we'll give it to you for free. Omar Avram, so Avram answered, he said, you said I could take what I want the Moras HaMachpelah. And the second thing is, when you said you'll give it for free, the Kesef Moli, no, I'm not taking it for free. I'm going to pay full price. And the Rebbe says, this also explains, after he said, V'yitali, as Moras HaMachpelah, so you already said, give me, and he finishes off, Kesef Moli, give it to me for full Kesef Moli. Why do you repeat the word again? Yitnenali. He already started off by saying V'yitali. But he's answering two things. One, he's answering them. You said that you'll give me Whatever I want, yes, that's one yitin. And then you said you give it for free. No, because of mol yitnan. It's another yitnan. That's another step. But the bottom line is, the first thing that he had to answer is, you want it for free. I'm not giving it. I'm not taking it for free. So, and if the first answer he said kesef mole, can't mean that he's telling him that I'm going to give bitcoins. So that's why Rasha says it must be that he meant I'll pay for the first price. But still, it's not 100% clear, because if you want to push and be deichik, you could explain shemoli kol akesef. Yes, the moli means that the money will be big, money will be full, the type of money he'll give. I said before, then it's not answering what they said. They said we'll give you for free, and he's saying I'll give you bitcoins. Doesn't fit. Like we said before, that's what the hechra from Rashi, that it means that he'll pay full price. Because it doesn't seem like he's answering what they said, that they're going to give it for free. Still, you could be deichik and say by saying bekesef mole. Maybe kesef mole means that the money will be full. By answering sheyitem matbeye shleimes, shkolim dem will give him complete money matbeye, so the big shkolim nichlo b'derech mameli siruve lekachas asada bechinam kimish shalom avura. So maybe it's included in that. In other words, really, what is answering is not answering their question. They say not question, but they're saying offering him will give it you for free. So maybe he answered, I'm going to give you big shkolim. It's not a direct answer. The first thing you got to say, I'll pay. But you could say, when he said, I'll give you big shkolim, includes the fact that I'll pay for it. Because if you're going to give shkolim, obviously you'll pay. Even though the pashas, it shouldn't be that way. Pashas, you got to go to say that you got to answer first, I'll pay. Then you could say, I'll pay a lot of money. I'll pay a lot of shkolim, good shkolim. But still, you could say, he includes that. So therefore, Rashi, to make clear that it can be pshat, that he meant big shkolim, that's why he adds, and he says, David Omar Aravna bekesef mole. That we see that David also said to Aravna, the Negei taking the Mokim Hamikdash on Haramiriya, he said bekesef mole. What does Rashi mean with it? Ein kavanose shel Rashi l'havi eid Mokim shnemer be'aloshim bekesef mole. Rashi is not just interested to bring this another place where we find the word kesef mole. El chazik is pirushe anal, but he wants to strengthen the pirush that he said, the tevas kesef mole. And the words kesef mole means shulish lematnas chinom, that he says, I'm not going to take it for free, but I'll pay. Kesef, I'll pay full price. That araya, that's what he means, is mimashanemer b'divrei hayomim. That we could see from what it says in divrei hayomim in that pasuk. How? Hatam adu rotza David l'shalom bad hagerin la'aravna v'kesef mole. What's the reason that it says why David wanted to pay the gate in that field? That was a field, and he wanted to pay Aravna of kesef mole before the Torah says what he meant to say when he said that. I'm not going to take what's yours for the sake of Hashem and to give that to Hashem. And I'm not going to make a place to bring korbanos for free. Oh, so what he said, kesef mole, is clear that what did he mean with kesef mole? To be shayla, to say it's not going to be for free. I don't want to take it for free. So there it's clear. When he said kesef mole, when he meant to say, I'm going to pay the whole value, I'm going to pay the full price. So there it's clear like that, because the pasuk says clearly that I'm going to pay you kesef mole because I don't want to take it for free. So we see clear. That's why Rashi goes in Tarichas in Rashi's Loshen. David Omer Laravno, and we asked the Shaila, why is it important to say David said to Aravno? Because he wants to show Alo Inyan Abdubersham. He doesn't want to just bring the words. Rashi is not interested in bringing the words kesef mole and compare it to our kesef mole. He wants to say, look into the Inyan, which means look up posik after, look in the psukim, and you'll see there that what it means. That it means that he's not going to take it for free; he'll pay for it. So in order to direct us, that what he means is to look into the psukim around there. So he says what he's talking about. So he wants to say look in what the reason is. When David said kesef mole, look around there. In that inyan, what did he mean? That will prove what he said before, that the kesef mole comes to exclude that I'm not going to take it for free, but I'll pay full price for it. I'll pay for it. Now in order 22, the Rabbi writes an interesting thing. Rasha brings this posik from Divrei Hayomim. Be'emes, the same similar psukim is doing Shmuel, in Tanakh Shmuel. And it's interesting, in Divrei Hayomim over there, we call this guy Aravno. The same story that's told in Shmuel, he calls it Armen. So why does Rasha here, when he quotes from Divrei Hayomim, why does he write the word Aravno? So the Rebbe said, Ula Yashleim Shaloch and Kosav Rasha v'chein David Omer LaRavno. The David said Ravno, Hashem shenikra be'besof Shmuel Beis. That's the name from Shmuel Beis. V'leila Arnon, Hashem shenikra b'Divrei Hayomim, Shom never be'kesav molei. In the posik where Rasha brings kesav molei, there it says the Arnon. Shemaramez, Rasha wants to hint. Kamal Eisei Siprik Mishi b'Shmuel. He wants to hint to the same story the way it's in Shmuel. Shedavid Sheshom Furish. There it's clear. Shedavid Omer Leiki Ekne Kone Ekne Mitchem B'Mchir. There he says clearly, I'm going to pay for a price. So Rasha wants to show that too. So that proves that Kesef Moleh goes on the field, and it's an answer to them. They said, "I'll give it to you for free." He said, "No, I want to pay for it." Another thing that Rebbe says, you could say another pshat why Rasha mentions David said to Aravno. Which will answer the way we said before that the reason Rasha brings David Omer Aravno just to hint to the place there, to the inyan that we're talking about, so you'll figure it out. Now, if that's the only reason, it's just to hint to that place, there could be other ways that Rasha could have said it. Rasha could have said it. It's a different word, which also tell us, look into the inyan there. Why did Rasha hint to that? Dafke by mentioning David said to Aravna. So Rasha wants to put something else here also. In Emok and Lishol, because there's a place to ask a shayla. My time at Abraham Shirot what was the reason? Why did he want to get the field for full price? Why do you want to pay for full price? He could have taken it without paying anything. Like Rasha says that he said to them when he said, Geir v'teshov minadin. I could take it because Apidin is mine. Said to him, I will give this land to your children. So it's his. And the way the Rebbe says in Order 23, even though this pshat in Ger v'teshov is the second pshat in Rasha, the first pshat Ger v'teshov is Rasha is a different pshat, a simple pshat. But then Rasha is a different Medrash Agode. What he meant to say is that I could really take it al pidin. So the Rebbe says, even though it's a second pshat, so it's not a second pshat because the inyan is not 100%. A lot of times, second pshat is according to the first pshat. It's not like that. Here it's different. This fact is true. What Rasha says, the fact that he could have taken al pidin is true. The question whether it's a second pshat is if that's what the words ger v'teshov mean. The pasuk says ger v'teshov. The shayla, what did he mean with those words? So there's a second pshat that he meant to say that I could take it al pidin. But even according to the first pshat, it's true that he could have taken it al pidin. So if he could have taken it for free al pidin, why taka was he so interested in paying for it? Rasha answers this question by saying Shekem etzim negam etzel David. We find it by David. Shomer la'Aravna, the Kesav Molei. David said to Aravna, it's Negeya, who's David and who's Aravna? And when we realize what there says, why David to Aravna didn't want to take it for free, wanted to pay, from thereafter we'll understand there. From there we'll understand it here. What was there? David. Who's David? David was the Melech. David HaMelech, the king. Kovas Asher Yishalayim. He conquered Yerushalayim. And he conquered it mi Aravna HaMelech. Aravna was the king over there. So what's the din? B'meila zocha b'kula medin kibush. There's a din that when a king goes to war and conquers something from another king, it becomes his. And since David was the king, and he conquered it from Aravno, it's mamesh his. And the Rebbe says that even in Pshutei Shel Mikra, even though it's a halacha in Shulchan Aruch, that if a king conquers, it becomes his. But even in Pshutei Shel Mikra, it's like that. So Apipashtes became David's 100%. Umekomak and Silke Shebo Libn Mizbeach, when he came to build a Mizbeach, Leistapik B'chiyose B'kimush. He wasn't satisfied with just that he got it through conquering. The Gam Leibel Zesh Aravno Yitnenele. He wasn't even satisfied that Aravno would give it to him as a present. He wanted it to be his by paying for it full price. David said the reason. The pasuk we quoted before. I don't want to take something that's yours, Lashem. Take something that belongs to you and that should be given to Hashem. And for free, without paying for it, I should bring Eilis to Hashem. I don't want to do that. Why not? Claimer means we had David taken it because he conquered it, which he had a right to. It doesn't take away any connection between Aravno and this Geiren in this place. Because after all, it's Aravno, and he just took it away from him by force. So there is still some connection that there's Aravno, because Be'etzim it was Aravna's, and he schlepped it away from him. It's still Aravna as a connection. But AJ to go further, even if Aravna would say, I'll give it to you as a present also. So the little connection that he has because he took it by force goes away. Now it's not by force anymore. He gave it a present. It's still yours. After all, you gave it to me. When you gave it to me, there's still some connection. First of all, when he schlepped it away by force, about it, it's really, he still feels it's his. And even if he gives it to you, when a guy gives somebody a present, whenever you look at it, you say, oh, see, I gave it to him. In other words, it's because of me that he has it, because I decided to give it to him. So there's still some small connection that I've known. And he said to him, I don't want you to have any connection. I don't want to take anything that's yours, which means I don't want to take anything that leaves a connection to you. That's why you paid full price. To make sure that Aravna has no connection to this field. Shouldn't have any connection to the Mizbeach and to the Karbonos. Because Aravna is a goy. So he wants this place, which is the Mizbeach to the Eibush, to the Bisamigdosh, should have some connection that it still has some achiza to the goy. So he wanted to get rid of it. So he not only conquered it, not only was ready to give it as a present, paid for it, not you. I took it, the deal, I paid for it, so the person has no mashayach. So it just like it was over there, same thing as Avraham. He didn't want that in this Maira, he will bury Sara. And in that same place, he later on will be buried, and the rest of the Ovis in the Mois. And Avraham knew that. Avraham knew that he's going to be buried there. Rasha says that why is it called Kiryas Arba? Because there are 4 zugias, 4 pairs there. So Avraham wanted it because who's the 4 pairs? Noach and Chava, and then Avraham and Sara, Yitzchak and Rivka, Yankov and Leah. So Avraham wanted it for that reason. So Avraham saw that this Maida is going to be such a special place, such a holy place where they'll be buried. He didn't want that the Shoyer that should have any connection to Ephraim. His name will still be there. People will still be able to say, oh, this is Ephraim, this is Ephraim. That's why he didn't want to take it by force because he had a right. Didn't even want to take it for free. But he paid full price for it because it shouldn't be there. And that's hinted. That's what Rasha hints by saying, to tell us, look over there, you'll see it's a reason why you pay Kesef Moli. And Rasha is playing Kesef Moli, and the way Rasha starts off, that this means I'll pay full price of it. So it's the union of paying for it. So Rasha is explaining why did he want to pay full price? Look at the story, because the same Lashon is over there, the same reason over there, the same reason applies here. So then the Rebbe says, we have wondrous things. It's a Lashon from the Shiloh, which the Rebbe always touch means that you find in Rashi, even though it's Pshuta Shel Mikra, simple Pshat, there are a lot of inyonim in Halacha, Kabbalah, but also in Halacha that you can learn out from Rashis. See, Kabbalah and Pnimis HaTeira, Yenesh HaTeira is in every Rashi. Halacha is not in every Rashi, but many Rashis have to do with Halacha. So this one also. So we have Gam, the Pirish Rashi, Yeshem Yonim Mefloim, Gam Anegim, L'Shar Chal Ki'atei, which is negated to other parts of Teira, besides the Pshuta Shel Mikra. Agidei Pirusha Shel Rasha Kan, Yisashev Eskusha B'Chelik Halacha Sheb'Teira. The way Rasha says it here, will answer Akasha in Halacha. Akasha in Nigla. And this is what it says. Hoda Karka Nikne B'Kesev Nilmud B'Gemorah Me'akosov Sodas B'Kesev Yiknu. We know that you could be Karka with Kesef. Mishnah says that It means land, you could be kaina. Kaina means acquire, becomes yours. We're not talking about how much what you pay for it. Land, to be kaina, if you make a kinyan on it, it becomes yours. What's the kinyan? One of the kinyanim is if you pay money. And how much money did you have to pay to make the kinyan? You have to pay the value. You can give a pruta. Give one pruta, and to the guy, Amanas to be kaina the field, you kaina the field. Where do we know such a din? So the Gemara in Kedushin, of Chavov, the Gemara learns it out from the Pasuk, Sodes bakesev yiknu, says clearly. You could be kaina sodas with kesef. Pirish with Teisves. Teisves says, Teisves asked the Shaila, why doesn't the Gemara bring the Pasuk in Ephraim? Hainish Avram konas asoda bekesev Ephraim. We see Avram was kaina the field from Ephraim with kesef. So Teisves says, Mishum the dil mehanem il menochri. Should kol kanyon the kesef. Chala goy is kain everything with kesef. A yid is not kaina metaltali with kesef. Only karka, only land, real estate. But things which are movable, you can't be kaina with kesef. You kaina with meshicha, you kaina with hadboy, you chlippen, you can't be kaina with kesef. But a goy is kaina things with kesef. So when it says here that Avram was kaina the Moras Machpelah with kesef, maybe it's only from Ephraim because he was a goy. But it's no raya that yidden to do the same. Therefore, we need another raya, and the raya is from Sodas the kesef. The Rebbe says, based on what we said before, that Rasha is telling us Ashalom Kol Shavya means that I plan to pay full price. I'm going to pay for it full price because I don't want it, as we said before, Ephraim to have any Siches. So according to that, we'll understand simply why we can't learn out from here that the kinyan to become a soda to become a carcass with kesef. Besides what Teisva says. So that says like this. First of all, the Rebbe says nothing to do with the Rasha. We can bring a raya from this for this story that you could be kain the kesef bekarka. How do you know? From here we don't know the kinyan kesef, which is a din that with one pruta, you give one small pruta, you could be kain the whole field. That we can't learn, and that's the din of kinyan kesef bekarka. That we won't know from our story. He paid the full price. What we're trying to know is when we know kinyan kesef, and even with a small pruta that you can be kain. So that's number one. But that's not it's also negated to Rasha, where Rasha says he paid the full price. It's also negated to the Rasha. Rasha says, because without Rasha, the words don't mean that. But the fact is, anyway, he paid the full price. But here Rasha says that this is what the pasuk means, that you paid the full price. So we know, so even if you want to learn it from here, you could only learn that if you pay full price for a field, you kain it, but you won't know that you kain it with a pruta. Now, the emes is, if you look at order 35, there's a big machlekes between the Taz and the Sma. The Sma learns, maybe say the Taz first. The Taz learns that when you give a pruta to become a karka, it has nothing to do with payment. It's a kinyan, like any other kinyan, all kinds of kinyanim. And the Sma says that no, when you give a pruta to become that pruta is the beginning of the payment of the value of the field. So according to the Sma, certainly is not right from Avram. Avram paid for it. We're talking about a kinyan which has nothing to do with paying. According to the top, but according to the Sma, you might say that he did what he did here is the same like kinyan kesef by a regular field, because he paid for it, and the regular field you also give a pruta to pay for it to be beginning of the payment. But the Rebbe said it's not ayah. Why? Because it's only the beginning of the payment. From here we don't see. You see, you have to give the full payment. So you can bring a ayah from here that you could be kain a karka with a pruta, even if you hold a pruta is the beginning of the shavias, but you can do it with a pruta. Here you don't see it. But in the Neisel, besides that, Mashavrom nosan es kesef asodel Ephraim, the way we learn Pshat in Rashi, when he gave him the money, it wasn't for a kinyan. According to Rashi, it wasn't to be kain. Since he could take it, Alpidin means it's his. He doesn't need a kinyan, so he didn't pay for a kinyan. The reason he paid for it, Ephraim had no shayches to it, because it wasn't Ephraim's, everything was Avram's. So he didn't need a kinyan. He just wanted the Ephraim should have no connection to it. That's why he paid. So we can learn not kinyan kesef, because here he wasn't kinyan. According to Rashi, he just paid him to get him off that he should have no shaykhs to it. The Yanyonim, the Yeinish Shel Teira Shashel Fanenu, is also Yeinish Shel Teira Chassidus Yanyonim here, Naveda. Isa Bezeir, it says in Zeir, Shah mitzvahs tzriches liyas, mitzvahs have to be lay berikanye b'magon, not empty, not for free. Ki ozlei nimshech al dei mitzvah reicha dekdusha. If you get a mitzvah without effort, without putting in anything, without paying for it, then it doesn't have the ruach of kedusha. Zeu ha-seder be'luma ze. In Klippe, the seder is for free. In Mitzrayim, it says, Mishikosav ha-sheneichel be'Mitzrayim chinam, the Eden is complained in the Midbar, we want the fish that we ate in Mitzrayim free. And Rasha said, what does it mean free? Rasha asks, Mitzrayim, they ate free. They didn't give him any straw, they gave him fish. So he says, chinam means b'lei mitzvahs. You don't have to work for it, you don't have to. So there it means b'lei mitzvahs. But b'chlal, someone could say, no, that what we say here is that in Klippe, you get things for free. But by Kedusha, you have to be mishtadl, you have to work on it as much as you can, according to your keach. Ubagar shlim, and the full price. That's what the Kedusha is. This is what Rasha said, Shavrom Omar Ashalim Kol Shavya. I will pay all its value. I'll pay the full value. I don't want to take from you and to always and bring the korbanos for free. Which means he was saying, I have to, whatever I'm going to do, something I'm supposed to do, I want to work for it. I want to pay for it. You can't take it for free. The kocha is naig Avrom b'mitzvahs milos chasodim. That's what Avrom did concerning milos chasodim. Also, Shekim be'efen shel ishtadlo be'e v'agashlim. He did the milos chasodim, and he did in a way that he worked on it and he put in effort and he paid for it. Well, I don't know, not always doesn't mean paying with money, pay with work, but you pay for it, you put in an effort. That's what Avraham Avinu did. And here also he said, I want to pay for it. He didn't want to take it for free. So it's a dover shebekdusha, you have to work for it. And the lesson, the Aveda Ruchni is for every single Yid, man and woman. What the inyan of a Yid is, to be mevarer, to purify al de avidose b'teire mitzvahs, by doing the Aveda Teire mitzvahs, as hamokim be'animtza. Wherever you are, you have to be mevarer the place through Teire mitzvahs. And what does mevarer really mean? This is the Likkutei here. Shehul levade yi abalabosham. You have to become the balabos over it. A Yid has to become the balabos over his place. That means that a Yid, which represents Kedusha, becomes the balabos over the place. And I see in the Orah 44, the Rebbe brings with the words from the Tzemach Tzedek, where he said, Mach do Eretz Yisrael. In other words, the place where you are, change the place. Make the place holy. That's the pshat. You're the balabos. Make the place holy. So we have the kavanah hi sheiknu yalei, that you should acquire that place. Al they deal with ashlume v'aveda v'ishtalse. But how should you do it? Through work. Just like here, he wanted to acquire the place through paying, through working. The Leibel ekanye b'magon, not empty and for free. And what does that mean? What could a person think that he's empty? He's going to do it without working for free. Shalayemer believe a person should not say to himself, my kishreines, my seichel, my midas are very good. I have a good akop. So I have the Teire Matana. It's very, very easy. I don't have to work hard to learn. I just learn and I got it. And maybe I'm a person that's very easy to be kind of mitzvahs. My nefesh habamis is not, doesn't cover up so much. And he has the order here, order 45 in Tanya Perek Tesvav. He describes it. Some people could be, when he speaks about the difference in a tzaddik and a beinani. A tzaddik is called le'avodei because he doesn't have to work. A beinani always fighting, has to work. So he's called the Eved Elikim. Then he says, even in a beinani gufa, you could have some beinani which they don't have such a big taiva, they don't have such a big yitzhara. So there is such a thing. So a person could say, so what's wrong with it? So why do I have to put in work and put in hard labor if I don't have to? Comes the Hero from Avram and David. They didn't want to take for free, even something that they had, something that's theirs. They could have taken it. Avram could have taken it. David certainly conquered it. He could have taken it. Didn't want to. Even without conquering it, he wanted to give him as a present. They paid all its value. They paid for it, meaning they put in everything they have to. I know that means that somebody could learn Torah and do mitzvahs, doesn't have to work hard. The kol zeh still If they levada as Chelek Beilim to levada the place in your world, in other words, to acquire the place, as he said before. And it's like the story here where you acquire the Moras Machpelah, wherever you want to acquire and become the balabos, to own the place. Beruchnius, sheyetzel legamre mitachas memshelas haklipe, should go away completely from under the control of klipe. The year direle is borach, it should be a dir for the Eibishter, who dafke, that's only ayidei shtadlus aveda b'yigir. That's only if you work for it. And in order 46, the Rebbe adds, besides that, lo yagaiti mitzvasi al timing. The Gemara says that you think you got a good head and without working you'll get it. Don't really believe it. You have to work for it. But besides that, even if you would manage without working, which is really not going to happen, you have to know no matter what, you got to work for it. Then you reach the level which Avram gave. How much did he give? 400 shekel kesef ever laseicha, which in Kabbalah, in Zayar, it says that this goes on Tov Almin Kisufin. There are 400 elements of desire to the Eibishter. Dir say tzadikayo la'almados. This is the dir, not this. I'm sorry. The yorse that the tzadikim lost lo yarshin. They inherit. Says these 400 elements, which is what's going to be the isgalus of chineseviv kalalmin. So we're zeicher to get that arba mei shekel kes eved la seicher, which is the isgalus of seviv kalalmin, and who gets it? V'amach kulam tzadikim, to all the Eden, which all the Eden are called tzadikim. I want to ask. Someone suggested maybe we should change the shir from 9 o'clock to 8 o'clock, because now the day finishes earlier. Is there any objection or any svaras about it?
I don't have an objection. Whatever's good for you, Rabbi.
Huh?
Whatever's good for you.
I think it's better 8 o'clock because I have to wait. But so maybe for some people it's harder. I don't know.
My kids are in bed already. No problem. 8 o'clock is good.
Yeah. Okay.
I think 8 o'clock is better too.
So 8
So
o'clock.
maybe let's make it if we're gonna. Yeah.
So Rabbi Frankfurt, it's announced at 8 o'clock next week.
8 o'clock next week. We'll have it 8 o'clock, and from then on, we'll have 8 o'clock. I want to mention again that this is all. This shir is l'schus of Avram Yosef Bayarski in honor of the Beledes. Hashem should give him all the brachas. Bracha v'atzlacha.
Amen. That's a